何を勝手な。いいだろう。白騎士様。最後のね。
What a fucking twist in his facial emotion.
まだ最後かどうかわかんねえ。
You can't decide. What?
I mean, he is the prince. Well, the leader of the squadron.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with some more Macross Delta. Quickly running out of material in the Macross space. Of course, we got this episode, 2 after it, couple of movies, couple of specials. The element that the Frontier Labyrinth of Time thing was supposed to, as we've been told from the comment, supposed to have been watched between the movies, gives me some hope that there's overlap there for, like, something big.
Yeah.
But then again, we also have Macross 2 to get to, which I believe Macross 2 was released. Macross 2 was released after Do You Remember Love and Flashback 2012. So, sort of the Zeta Gundam of our kind of watch series.
Macross 2? No, Macross 2 is more like Destiny to original Gundam.
No. What you're trying to frame it in like a narrative, I think. What I'm talking about is the element that we finished Mobile Suit Gundam, and the next released thing would have been Zeta.
Yeah.
But then we did all this extra other stuff. Then, in that sense, Macross 2 is our Zeta, off waiting to be seen. The same way that we're about to get finished with the 1-year war in April Century, and then jump back some, 30 years. Alright, well, we have a board, we have notes, but the board comes first, so let's take a gander at said board. And with the board comes the board changelog, where I added Alec and connected him to his father. I connected Kasim to Norman with a green line, and I marked Kasim as dead.
Connected him with a white line to Hayate. Well, that was before already.
Yeah, say if there's a white line there, that's pre-existing. Because I know sometimes I don't. I know sometimes I don't add some changes I made. I think I only made these specific changes this time.
Green hair Alec, like the apple trees. But in this universe, people have all kinds of color hair, so that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, we just don't talk about it.
Yeah, it must be that Centrati bloodline.
Except that these aren't Centrati.
True. I mean, they're children of the protoculture, I guess, so that it's why that is. I mean,
we're children of the protoculture.
True.
Without green hair.
Or blue hair, like
well, no, actually, Max had green hair at one point.
And then he had blue hair. Stick with the blue hair.
Actually, I think it was the reverse. I think he had blue hair, and then he had green hair. I think he had blue hair in SDF Macross, and I think he had green hair in Macross 7.
Gotta check. I think it's...
You can check the board. You don't have to go Google. You just scroll up on the board.
But I gotta load up all of this to make sure...
Well, if you can see the bottom, you should be able to see that, well, no, it's blue hair in Macross 7. And thankfully, we connected him with the gold lines. We just follow that up. Now, you're right. It is green in Macross, SDF Macross. I was thinking back to the first episode of SDF Macross where I said Max is there in the first episode. You were arguing with me that he wasn't. And I was like, yeah, no, you can see the back of this pilot's head. His green hair. That's Max. And now, in my future memory, I was thinking blue hair. Back of that pilot's head is blue. Also heavily implies that he wasn't wearing a helmet.
Like Hayate.
Lots of characters. What a big journey it's been. And yet, nowhere near as many as Universal Century.
Oh, no.
And nowhere near there in as many as the Legend of Galactic Heroes board will be after this.
Yeah. That's gonna... And we even haven't finished the prequel-sequel thing before we actually get to the original show.
Prequel. It's all prequel. Doing chronological order, so it's all before the series.
Yeah, but I'd say prequel-sequel because it came out after... it was developed and put on air.
That doesn't make it a sequel.
I'm just making a joke. That fell flat, so
yes, it did.
So that was the board. I guess we all go on. Do we have comments as well?
No.
No, we don't. Well, it's only then notes, and I believe I have more, which doesn't say much. You just have more palabral to speak. So let me get started, shall we? We're going to be covering episode 22 and 23. Episode 22 is Extreme Bravery. First note: Mirage echoing Messer makes sense, but it will lead to Lita to Freya. Freya locking up later.
Lita, Guardian Angel?
I was thinking more DS9, and that's Lita. No, Babylon 5 Lita. I think it was Lita, the Dabo girl in DS9. Never mind. Doesn't matter.
I think you're thinking of Kira.
No, I'm talking about the Dabo girl, not the second in command of the station. Kira Nerys. There
What's
you go,
his name's girlfriend?
Rom's girlfriend, eventual
Quark's
wife.
brother.
Yeah, Quark's brother.
Unfortunately, I didn't have much to say about the first half of episode 2. We had a number of conversations between characters that just seemed to establish already established character traits. Royd's been manipulating the royal family since they were young. Hayate and Mikumo are ready to do what it takes. I guess there could be something to say about Walkyr's full-body transparent skin suits, but I just assumed that those were the holographic bodysuits that we've seen since Frontier. Hellman's boy is going to look after Kassem's boy. Mirage taking over Messer's role in the squadron. Just not a lot of new information requiring discussion.
Yeah, I think I have a mention about that as well, but essentially, no, I'll leave it to when I get to my note because it's a larger comment on what I believe to be one of the problems I have with Delta. You may or may not agree, but I want to put it there. I think it's my next note, if I'm not mistaken. No, this is about the clothing. So that's where they put the rockets. I guess the lotion Mikumo is putting on is designed to avoid their underwear and skin being scorched by it. But I wonder what those lines are for. Holographic mapping, perhaps? Never seen them before.
Like I said, it's just a visual for the holographic thing, I think. Also, I don't think that the lotion is for that, because they're rubbing it on Freya's arms.
Well, they're rubbing it over each other, right? Everybody. So, the cold, I guess? I don't know.
So Hayate pilots himself down to where Freya and Walkyr are singing to shout at her about how her singing sucks right now. Thank God the VF-31 Siegfried is that whisper quiet engine. Otherwise, it would not only drown out their conversation, it would drown out Walkyr's singing.
Yeah. Those big fusion-powered turbofans. Yeah, they whisper quiet, yeah. Never mind the exhaust, too. Which makes a lot of sounds, right? But hey. Yeah. See, now I'm in the... And this, I didn't put this in my notes, but it's sort of like things start unraveling in my mind where I could excuse a lot of this stuff before. Like, oh, yeah, this and that. But now that you brought that whole, and I'll talk about, have a note about it, the whole fight sequence and all that, and how things are kind of rushing to the end, which I said a couple of times, and not in a good way. Every sort of spikes, like, yeah, they're doing this, they're doing that. Where before, if I'm in a more, and this is a personal bias thing, if I'm more an accepting kind of way, I'm willing to oversee a lot of these films. Like, yeah, I still have it, I still like it, so I'm not going to focus on that. I'm more forgiving of them. But now I'm in a mode of like, no, there it is. There it is. There it is. They did the thing. There you go. Why do you do this? Like, kind of thing. And not even in that sort of light tone, like, I'm annoyed. My next note. Good to see that Mikumo, I don't know what point I wrote her as Milumo, but Mikumo is questioning herself. But again, I think that would have been more helpful in it, which is another thing I said, that a lot of this stuff should have been broken down into little vignettes and across the series, or have one earlier episode where they just hash it out, right? Rather than the very end. It's like, oh, by the way, let's give her some personality that we haven't given her before, right? Not a bad thing to do, but in episode 20-something of 26, seems like we're just filling space, right? So, yeah.
I don't know, I have a future note about it because of other things. I guess it just builds everything up together, but we'll get there when I get there. slowest fucking beam weapon, Kasim's main gun, slowly trails its way towards an unmoving Hayate with enough time for Mirage to fly a literal circle around him to get in the way of it and block it. Then, they have their back turned to Kasim for a full 58 seconds, and yes, I believe it to be real actual time, as there is talking out loud during each second, implying that it's not in narrative time, in which Kasim only fires off a burst of gunfire at their backs. Almost a complete minute he had free to do what he would. I still find it ridiculous, since I'm mentioning the fight, and have brought up before that I wished that the planes themselves mattered, and it was, sorry, I've written this weird. I wish that the planes themselves mattered, and it was narrative or plot superpowers that made the fights what they were. I think I meant to write not. That it wasn't the narrative or plot superpowers that made the fights what they were. According to the tech specs, the Siegfried is almost 7 times faster than the Draken 3.
Well, I have a note about that. Let me, because I also have that, which confirms what you said. Yes, Mirage managed to drive Kasim away for a moment, but would you think that Kasim would have just circled back or transformed and shot them both down? Like, okay, got shot. I'm in fighter mode. I just transform and just shoot, and that's it.
Like you said, he had 58 seconds, but he did nothing.
Yeah, in a dogfight, that's an eternity.
But as I also said, the Siegfried is apparently 7 times faster than the Draken 3.
Well, overall speed, and we talking about straight line speed, or we're talking about maneuver?
Top speed.
I don't think. Yeah, that wouldn't be a factor here.
It would be a factor in most of the fights that we've seen them in, if you consider
yeah,
for
but
the
that's in a
fact
pursuit.
that
That's in a
well, that's
pursuit,
what the
but
pursuit
not-
is. What
Yeah,
did I
but they're
just
just
say?
hanging there,
Lessons,
so
what did I just say?
just turn around.
I said in most of the fights we see them in, which is them flying away from the Draken 3s, where
Yeah.
they're able to achieve the top speed, and the Draken 3s are able to keep up with them.
Yeah, but not in this situation. The situation is just, it's a setup for them to have the image of Mirage and Freya comforting him. It's like, oh, I snapped out of it. That was the setup, but yeah. If someone else had come in and helped them, that would have been better.
Well, as I complained
that-
about before in a different recording, you already have 30 minutes of my thoughts.
Okay. That was I answered your note with my note. You have another note?
Oh, this is something you had an argument with me about during the last episode, so... The portal opening fight was just a complete mess of perspective. The aerial knights are looking at the portal opening up, and to the left of them. We then see them tilt to the right and fly down, which would be away from the portal. The transport then flies up at the portal, and they call out, "Enemy incoming," as Chuck says, "I won't let you get in the way," and flies out in front of them, firing a wave of missiles up towards the portal. We then see Chuck looking down and to his left at the transport flying up past him. After that is the entire squad and transport flying through the portal. No missiles. But the very next shot is the aerial knights firing at the missiles. Again, Chuck got in front of the transport and fired his missiles towards the portal. Then we saw him and everyone else go through the portal with no aerial knights or missiles in the shot. The aerial knights should be down and away from the portal by the context of where they flew towards, meaning that they were never in the path of the transport, and if Chuck wanted to shoot at them, he should have been facing down and away from the portal, not up and towards it. The whole shot lacks proper direction.
Yeah, and set piecing and blocking as well. It's rushed. I think that's what it is, right? They just want to, we're gonna make it exciting. This guy's gonna be fighting. They're going for the point. And when you're doing something like that, if you, like I said, you don't have the proper proportions and positions, it just feels completely off, right?
Well, as I said, we argued about it during the episode because I was saying it was stupid how Chuck fired up his missiles towards the portal, and then the next shot is them going through the portal, and then you were indicating that they were shooting at the missiles and everything like that. It's like, no, they don't do that until actually they go through the portal. And that doesn't make any sense anyway, because despite the fact that they're saying enemy incoming, they actually flew down and away from the portal. So he fires up at nothing.
Yeah, I agree with that. It was badly done. Now, this is about Keith and the king and his brother. So Keith, when he goes to visit him, is saying that the king that it is the king who has the real power here, and that he will do what the king orders him to do. Because I found the whole sequence that he goes to he asks for to be pardoned, right? Not to be pardoned, but to excuse himself for what happened before, when he opened his shirt and you see the white spreading in his brother's shirt. But then he says, "Hey, you're the king. He emphasizes, I will do whatever you tell me to do," right? Basically. Which is kind of dumb because he already told Roy that if Roy betrayed them, after Roy confessed to betraying them, right, by stabbing his father in the back.
I mean, it's not really betrayal.
Well, if you do that, well, the way Roy puts it is like, "Oh, I did it because that's what he asked me to do." But come on, no one else was there.
Yeah, he was saying it was mercy that the king was suffering.
It's like, yeah, you could have stabbed him in the front or something, or suffocated him. No, you stab in the back. Oh, okay.
I would argue suffocating it would have been worse.
Or call for aid for somebody to,
quick, somebody else get in here and kill this man. I mean, if you're putting him down, if you're putting him down to put out his suffering, then legitimately doing it quickly is probably the best way to go about it. I'm not saying stabbing him in the back is a quick thing either.
Yeah,
probably slitting his throat would have been the best way. But I think, well, to be fair, how the hell did he get away with this for so long? I think a stab wound to the back. Like, I guess he just had all those doctors in his pocket.
I guess so. Nobody examined the king, right? To your next note, then.
Okay, well, this is where I start getting into the next episode already. I guess the Windemirian search parties don't have thermal vision, or are just not looking for the crash survivor. And are just looking for the crash survivors with flying spotlights. This group is on the ground, in the snow, with no other heat sources, and only barely hiding behind rocks. Hell, the first thing the episode shows us is their footprints, which they are doing nothing to hide. Guess the spotlight method is no good for finding a mass of footprints in the snow. Let's not also forget that they are not maintaining radio silence either. Despite the show being so advanced that one person could hack the entire galactic network, the Windemirian homeworld can't even frequency scan radio transmissions and analyze them. I mean, they mentioned jamming, but jamming what? You are still talking yourselves, after all. Oh, and I almost forgot. These guys can see the wind around living people and how it moves and everything. This entire sneaking around while they're being hunted is such an obvious time waste.
Since you mentioned jamming, that's probably the only thing I could mention. Yeah, I agree. The only saving grace, jamming will last, so on and so forth. Okay, fine. And?
I mean, I don't have a note about it here, but they also mentioned the satellite uplink is still working. We saw you come through a portal in the air. Are you hacking their satellites? They can't fucking track you by that, too? For me, the wind and the thermal is the most egregious thing. We got a visual from Keith the one time that he can see, like, the glow around people. All those Windemirian pilots looking should just be like, there's a wind, there's a trail. The one thing we do is see wind moving. But yeah, no thermal vision, because they're fucking heat sources against cold snow.
Well, I guess that now we know why they, slathering themselves with that. That's a heat suppressing oil.
Oh, cool. So you're saying Hayate is also wearing those. That Arad is also wearing one? I'm just saying.
I guess it's more interesting showing us the girls doing that, slathering themselves was more interesting.
So you're saying that they also have anti-wind technology now?
Clearly not, because
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Bogue actually sees the wind and goes like, "Oh, there they are." That's how they picked them up. Like, "Oh, there it is." So that they didn't have anti-wind technology apparently.
So then why didn't anybody else see them? Because we needed half an episode's worth of bullshit.
I'm not defending it. I'm not defending it.
You're actively trying to defend it.
No, I'm not. I'm
They've got
trying to figure it
anti-heat
out. I think you're
technology.
right.
Maybe that's a defense.
I'm being sarcastic. There's no reason why, other than time sync at episode 20 something. Yeah, we're gonna waste our time. I mentioned this during the show, but I wanted to show it again. I guess the Windermerians fall within the atmosphere. They just open a portal and away they go. No problem. No massive destruction of people or things getting sucked in. None of that.
Well, it's a gate.
Yeah,
It's not the same as the SDF Macross's fold thing.
just a big bubble that took everything out. But
Yeah, no,
still,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Apparently we gate now. They did specifically call it a gate and not like the bubble. You know, across 7, remember, we had to combine multiple bubbles together to be able to get something big through. Although I would say that also probably shouldn't have worked. We should just like cut that thing into pieces. It should have been multiple pieces of City 7 floating around. Millions dead, or hundreds of thousands dead, as per another previous argument about Macross 7. The Nun's base still being fully intact is a bit jarring, but just some details beyond the ones that you brought up in the reaction. Where does that road go? We've not seen a paved road like that on Windermere in 23 episodes of visiting it. The one time we saw Royd pick up Keith in a car, the road didn't look like that. So what did this Nun's base connect to? Why is there no snow on the ground in the base? There's snow all over the place. This abandoned base should be covered in snow as well, but it's snow-free from the barricade inward, almost implying that it is being kept up.
well, I guess I do have a note about that. And I mentioned this during the episode, but it's worth repeating. Why didn't the Windermerians either secure or destroy the Nun space? And the pictures on the wall seem to suggest Nun soldiers living side by side with the Windermerians. And they're still there, by the way. The Windermerians hate the fact that the nuns have essentially poisoned the wind, right? Including intermingling with them, the music and stuff like that. I would think that the first thing you do in a act of liberation is like, oh, there's one of those bases. We're going to raid that base. We're going to take everything that's valuable, destroy or repurpose it or destroy it. Those pictures should have been thrown in a fire somewhere, right? It's like, we can't have this, you know.
Well, I mean, that's
Prove
what
that
I'm
we can
talking.
get along with each other, you know.
That's what I'm talking about when I said the stuff beyond the stuff that you brought up, because you were talking about not so much destroying it, but you were talking about why wouldn't you just like take everything from there?
Yeah, it has a radar dome and everything apparently. So yeah,
I don't know. I kind of assumed it was a power source. I had no idea what the fucking thing that was.
Either way,
Because my entire thought process when I was writing down about why is this fucking place covered in snow, because it seems like they would, like maybe they got heated roads, maybe the whole thing is running on automatic power and they've got like hot concrete. But then again, the place should still be covered with puddles and shit.
Yeah, Mars space was still had its nuclear reactor function and fusion reactor, but how the hell do I know? There was nobody there. But even then, it was covered in dirt, like you know. So
As I said, this place looks like it's being actively kept up with. Well, maybe that's why. Maybe that it's like a local village that did like these people, and they're keeping it up in case they come back. I don't know.
they're apocalypsing hotel this place, basically.
Well, I mean, it would be the people nearby, which would be the people Freya used to sing to. So who knows? I think Makumo is going to sacrifice herself. We've built up this whole "who is she" story arc through the entire show, and now that we kind of know, they are pushing this "you gotta live life" and we want to see how that changes you storyline. 3 episodes from the end, the only reason I could see for them to do that would be to rug pull and take that opportunity away from us, or her, by making it more important that she does something to save everyone.
Yeah.
You know, also they're pushing the "I'm 3" element.
Yeah, I'm 3 years old, so
You gotta protect me.
No.
I'm the youngest member of Volk here.
I'm going to go scroll back to where I was talking about, Wilk here. And of course, we move the plot forward by slapping Freya. Freya locks up. We know that she has a problem with this. So the way we solve this is by Mikumo slapping the shit out of her. Problem solved. She's like an old TV. You got to just hit it a couple of times and she's good to go. Just saying what the show's saying.
I mean, that's
it.
what you want to go down on the record as saying. Sure.
Yeah.
Anything else from, say, Archie Bunker you want to repeat,
No,
or
no.
All in the Family?
No.
Okay. I guess Rudenjar Ram Man is a trigger phrase for Makumo. We've heard Gramia say it, Hines say it. I think Makumo herself said it once before. But now Royd is saying it, and it puts her into a state. I guess it's worth noting that when Keith asks how things are going on Royd's end, Royd lies and says they are still tracking them down, and he's going back to report to Hines on the situation. So clearly bringing Makumo back to whatever he's doing in secret. So last 3 episodes, and Royd is lying to Keith and making his end run, it seems. Except, I typed that, pressed play, and Royd is in the freaking scene with them in the next minute. He says, I'm leaving Theo and Zhao in charge, while I return to the castle and report to His Majesty. Bring the prisoners in, I will join you later on. They didn't bring the prisoners back in. They're still standing out in the middle of the woods. Was the momentary fade to black meant to imply the time span it took Royd to go back to the capital, drop off Makumo wherever, possibly talk to Hines, and then fly back out to wherever Hayate and the crew are being held? That seems ridiculous if so. I wouldn't believe that a fuming Bogue would have waited that long to rip off a fake rune off of Hayate's hair for that long. I'd sooner believe that there's a fake Royd going around than that. It legit makes no sense.
I got nothing to say to that.
Literally, we go from him on the screen, take them in, I'll join you later, like 1 second fade to black, Royd getting out, hey guys, I guess it's later. Like, no, that makes no fucking sense.
Well, the sun seems to be setting. That's the only indication.
It doesn't really. It's setting later in the episode when we're doing the walk towards the hey, I gotta prove that your dad was horrible scene.
Yeah.
That's the sun fading. There's no indication of time or movement. He told you to bring them in. You didn't.
No, he also told them to show them the crater. Show them what.
No, that's after. You're conflating when scenes happen. He says, I quoted it. Sorry, this thing is so fucking long. Bring the prisoners in. I will join you later on. Then it fades to black. Literally half of a second fade to black. And then he's there coming out of a truck. And that's when they do the whole conversation. Oh, you don't know? You know your dad? No, sorry. That's when he says, oh, in Second Lieutenant Hayate Immelman. And they're like, who? Because he's reading everyone's names out. And that's when they say, okay, you need proof, we'll show you proof. That's after the go turn them in. Oh, wait, no, I'm just going to be in the next scene.
Now, this one is my last note on episode 22, because there's a confusion here. So I think they're supposed to be both true. It's, again, one of those things where it's all over the place. First, I said, no, Kassen burned out at the last moment. A moment later, he's asked about the orchard, but to me, it was more likely he just burned out, and that is what killed him. Because the way it goes is like he's pulling the trigger, and they go like, ah! And then it's like, and then he crashes.
The crash killed him.
Yeah, but it's like...
No, he is going to kill Hayate. He burns out. That's why he doesn't pull the trigger. Then he realizes he's crashing, as Hayate is saying, oh, you can just crash into that trees. And he's like, I'm not killing the fucking trees. And he angles down, which is you can see the movement he does in the controller, to crash land. And that's basically his condition, plus the crash landing, is what kills him.
Because you said originally in the video, it's like, oh, the reason why he didn't pull the trigger is because he didn't want to hit the...
I mean, it could have been that too, but because technically you saw the line of sight between him and Hayate was the trees were there too.
Yeah,
but the fact that you also see him go full white and he goes kind of implies to me that he's blacking out because of the expenditure that he's
he burned himself out basically, and the effect that the Windermere's have that they eventually grow older the more they boost themselves. But that seems to be the implication.
All right, well, to my final note then, Hayate is a special kind of asshole. At the scene of a war crime, the worst thing to have happened to a people in their planet's history, actively denying your father's involvement, and when someone gives a personal accounting of their family's loss, his response is to tell the person he's with to do the one thing he knows these people hate. Something that represents your culture over theirs to boot. I almost feel like in the scene, Bogue is supposed to be a Quamsum analog, trying to remain unmoved by the music for the purposes of continuing on the path they are on. Except in this case, in this context, I feel I'm on Bogue's side. This is dickish behavior by Hayate and the crew, regardless of the war.
My take on that, my second to last note of the next episode, but not my second to last note overall. Okay, Hayate, not believing the atrocity committed by his father by dropping the bomb. The full bomb makes him at least extremely dense, at worst, a complete dumbass. Yes, you may not want to believe that your father was responsible for such a thing, but denying it makes you sound like a jackass. They should have thrown them into a cell and be forgotten about them. Like, oh, fine. Here.
Spartan kick their asses off the edge.
Yeah, because that whole thing, bring them to the whole thing to see it's like, no, this guy's a jackass. Just
just because Hines doesn't want them to be killed, that's the reason why they're surviving. It's just
throw them in a cell cells. Like, forget it, I don't have to talk to you.
To be fair, this just follows the letter of the law rules. You don't need your arms and legs to survive.
Oh, you need to go to surgery. Somebody loops up your arms and legs. That might
funny
kill
that
you
say that, because that's the whole point that I had in my last reaction to Visions of Escaflowne. The past shot, Falcon gets his arm bitten off by a dragon, and then the next scene is in the operating room in a Zybok place, and it's like, because his whole thing is he has a prognostication engine, which sees the future. So he must have known Falcon would be important to him to have been there to save him fast enough that he didn't fucking bleed out from losing an arm. So it's like, this is really convenient.
I haven't watched Vision of Escaflowne in a long time, so I've probably forgotten more than I remember.
I'm like two or three episodes. I'm literally as far away from the end of Vision of Escaflowne as we are from Macross Delta. Except I've only got one movie to go with there.
Well, you already said your final note, so I guess I have to round up mine. Episode 23. I have two things to say about this episode. One, it's entirely predictable in an unengaging sort of way. And two, a lot of the character development should have happened about 5 to 10 episodes ago.
I feel like you could probably reorganize a couple episodes to make this work better. But at the same time, I think we're where they intended us to be. So, show writer intent is also a problem.
Yeah, it's writing is a trick. You have to convince people that it is natural and that it was the way it's supposed to go, as opposed to like somebody actively writing this go like, aha, I need to do this now because this is what needs to be done. You should be watching it or reading in a way that goes like, oh, I totally believe this is what happens next, right? It flows from whatever happens before. It shouldn't be like, so this is the scene where you needed to do this, People should not be constantly in the meta of it's not meta. It's people should be in the Watsonian view of the work, but it's within the work and believe things as explained within the work, and not in the Doyleist, as in Arthur Conan Doyle, as the vision of the writer who's writing this, right? I mean, we are more aware of it because we watch a lot of anime, and that's what we do, but still, the idea that there should be that at the very least, you can convince me that I'm in the world makes sense and flows from what's happening in the world. Well, to my next point then. And yes, I do realize, I was going to skip something. It also reminds me, as it did the last few episodes, that my biggest gripe with Delta is the horrible pacing. Right?
I think it's been well paced. I think the problem is the content of what's being paced. We get an emotional scene, we get a fight, we get some character development, we get a fight, we get another emotional scene, we get a fight. The pacing is fine. I think the content of the pacing does nothing for the narrative. The pacing is good for entertainment value and to keep the viewer's interest moving, and it's not like one long thing that needs to, like SDF Macross had pacing issues where we would stay a long time on a scene that goes nowhere, whereas this moves from thing to thing pretty clearly. The problem is that the things that it moves to do not assist the narrative at all. Like, I feel like we're still like in the shallows of a greater story because we're still like, I don't fucking need to know what Makumo says to Hayate. But putting that scene in between two other scenes was good pacing. Like, a better scene could have been put there, and it would have occupied the same movement between scenes.
I guess pacing is the wrong word. Placing should be the word that I should be using instead. Because the pacing is, like I said, it's very good. But where things are shown, timeline wise, overall the show, I always believe that a lot of this stuff either should have been broken into one of those smaller scenes, right? Across the series. Like, we should have gotten a little more insight earlier on. Because she was always mystery girl. All of a sudden, oh, no, she's a clone or whatever she was constructed. But we're rushing to that, right? The whole thing with Hayate's father, we only hear really about it in the middle of the show. It's like, I'm just a loner. I don't care about. I'm a oh, hey, I have a dad, and my dad used to be a pilot. Like, that could have been useful when you were talking about.
I think that's on purpose. I think that's on purpose. I have no note about it, but I did bring it up last episode. What if, like, actually not two episodes ago, because I used it as that little intro bit for the start of the episode to say, hey, this is what the show's going to be later on when we're reacting to it. That what if Hayate's dad had a fling with a Windermerian? And my whole idea that Freya could be related to Hayate, that's their connection. The whole Luke and Leia thing kind of going on right now. But the idea was that they wanted the payoff for that to be at the end of the show. So they
you can have the payoff, yeah.
No. That I'm saying that they didn't want the reveal for that to be anywhere but near the end. So they've kind of chained their hands together on this, so that they didn't know how to get there. But they knew where the there was that they wanted to get. They just didn't know how to get there. So they've kind of been like meandering around the narrative to try and get there by the end. And I feel like that's what's going on.
Yeah, the setup, development, payoff. The development part is the setup too late, which doesn't give enough time for the development of that point, which means then to me, feels like they're racing to the preset pacing, to the preset payoff. Like,
yeah, no, that's what I talked about with the Makumo thing, that we've established. Okay, right near the end. Okay, Makumo is a creation for such purpose or whatever. And then they like, oh, well, you should live your life, have experiences. I would like to see what you turn into. 3 episodes from the end, clearly Makumo's going to die. But like you said, I feel like they knew where they wanted to get to, but didn't know how to get there. The same problem I feel like SDF Macross has after you finish off the whole destruction of the Earth arc. They knew where they wanted to get to, and they got there way too fast.
Because the thing is, like, in the earlier episodes, when we're going through the whole training arc, we had that one episode of the lousy test. That would have been a perfect, in those 2, 3, 4, 5 episodes, that would have been a perfect, like, just to mention, like, yeah, my dad used to be part of the nuns' forces. He was a pilot, but I didn't feel like that was my calling. But now that I'm flying, instead of being like, oh, we're in this, halfway through the show, right? You don't have to make a lot of it. Just mention it in passing in the sentence to talking to Mirage. Like, yeah, I know, and also would have been more of the, okay, I'm going to refocus my efforts to be a better pilot sequence, right? But instead it's like, no, we're going to rely on space magic. Freya sinks, he gets super powered, we're good to go. Instead of him building up his skills and then Freya coming along and then pushing up next level, right? Instead of being like, oh, I'm a lousy pilot, but once Freya starts singing, I become a super pilot, right? Yeah,
missed opportunity they had in the show for a montage.
Yeah.
Typically, you typically need in a montage. Music.
A song.
Yeah. Just have Freya sing the montage. That way he doesn't have... they want them to be connected, though. That's the problem.
the thing is, we do get a montage of Freya training to be part of Walkür, which makes sense because she has to work it up. But we don't get the same thing with Hayate. Hayate just he's remember the whole thing
Not
he
throw up
dances.
boy.
Oh, that yeah. He remember he was a great dancer in the machine, and he could.
No.
We're not using that
The
anymore.
montage we got for Hayate was throw up boy because he actively avoided training. Hayate avoided the montage.
Yeah, which kind of makes sense, at least in the beginning, but you could then have the later montage. Like, no, he actually is training. Or even the scene where he's coming out of the simulator going, yeah, that was kind of hard,
Well, the
right?
problem is that the point at which he would have wanted the montage, well, I guess after Messer's death, but also just before Messer's death, because, they're having that conversation. They don't do it. He doesn't train or anything. He's just like, I'm going to be better. And then he was.
It's the plot bending around, or he bending to the plot that requires him to be the
very best, like no one ever was.
Best. I mean, here's the thing: we talked earlier on how these characters mirrors of or echoes of other characters, and Hayate's first comes a little bit like like Hikaru, right? But the thing is that Hikaru, from the get-go, is shown to be a great pilot. Not a combat pilot, but he's a good pilot. He outflies everyone else. We told that he was in the flying circus, and so he's been training for years.
I was about to say that the element that what I keep saying about a bunch of these shows that we watch, that they just threw out a sentence or two, they could probably get away with so much more than they don't try. But again, you just throw out a sentence like, "Oh yeah, I used to do this thing," or "Hey, do you remember back when we did?" This is like back when we used to bomb womp rats on Tatooine. And it's like, okay, well now I know you at least have some experience. Like you aren't just a farm boy who's getting in. Actually, to be fair, I was actually thinking about that when I was watching Star Wars again. He does, like when they're doing the flight against the Death Star, he just does get into an X-wing. Like there's no. How does he know how to pilot an X-wing?
There is a cutscene where he says he's talking to someone else, and that someone says, "Oh yeah, the controls of the X-wing are kind of like the same, like the Skyhopper that he flies that we do see in the background in the garage." But that got caught. So
I mean, yeah, but to be fair, there's so much bad cutscenes too, so we can't just include all cutscenes to explain things that they were cut for. Also, Lucas got his hands on the ability to add anything he wanted to the movie. He didn't re-add the cutscenes. He included more CGI bullshit. You know what this movie needs? Stuff right in front of the camera.
Yeah. I mean, again, looking back at SCF1, Macross, you see, Hikaru outflying the team, the demonstration team by rocketing away, and Fokker going like, God damn it, right? It's showing in Macross Plus, what's his name? The lead fighting against the Centrati and beating them and being very reckless about it, right? Like, oh my God, you almost killed me, which is a throwback to what happened in the original Top Gun, right? Where Maverick does all of where the thing and the other guy panics.
Didn't they say a Top Gun line last episode?
I don't think they did. I don't know.
I think they did, and I didn't make a note of it because it's like, But I figured you, Top Gun guy, would notice that. Nah, I swear to God, they just it was a one sentence line. I can't remember what the hell it was.
And yeah, I know this is. I wrote the question, and then literally they answered the question in the episode. So I'm going to skip this note. And you kind of answered also this question, but I'm still going to put it up as what exactly did Roy do to Mikomo that she was seeing triple?
Well, the part that gets me is the fact that I swear Mikomo said the word herself, 3 words herself before. It was the thing that was like, oh, maybe she is Windemirian. Back in the day when I thought she was Windemirian, is that she said the thing that Gramia and Hines both said. So I guess this doesn't act the same way as, say, the phrases that he used in Gundam Seed Destiny. Where you can say your own code phrase and it sets you off. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's bad. That's bad planning.
Yeah. He shows up behind the tree, like, oh, there you are. And she's like, what? And then he starts seeing, I guess he says the words and I missed it. And she starts,
no, he does.
And then he doesn't punch her. He does the
Well, he does the
5 point.
open palm thing, yeah.
Well, that's right, and takes her out.
So it's a
Right?
solar plexus thing. It'll take you out no matter what.
Yeah.
Also, I guess if you're not like
oxygen,
also if you're dazed and out of it, you're not even gonna clench up. You're just open to it.
or dodge or whatever.
But
right?
it's also the element that she sees like red universe, like.
Yeah.
But like I said, I would sooner believe that there's a fake Royd running around, or they never really explained the thing flying into his forehead from episodes ago.
Yeah, the mind possessed.
Well, I'm starting to move
Royd.
away from possession, and maybe it's information. Maybe it like implanted information into his head. Like maybe now he knows how to operate everything. Like we don't know. Maybe this is what protoculture schools look like.
Just drop a little white dot in your forehead, and you're good to go.
I mean, one of the like children's sci-fi novels I read or I bought once at a Scholastic book fair featured schools where you just went in and put like a helmet on, and it like flashed light into your eyes, and like the information was beamed into your brain through light. And it's like, well, this isn't much beyond that, except for the element it like goes through your fucking forehead
on the cortex all the way. Well, on my last note of sorts, more like a comment, anything else. More like never mind. I really don't know how they're going to pull off a satisfying ending out of all of this. They said satisfying, not necessarily good. Something I can live with. Like, yeah, okay, it's okay.
Well,
doesn't have to be great.
Remember that this also doesn't have to be the final ending.
True, there's the movies.
Yeah. I think I said before, the Frontier second movie, to me, is better than a lot of Macross content, even some of my own favorite stuff. So, in that, you have to put that into the Frontier camp. So, even if Delta, the show, doesn't pan out, it can still redeem itself with whatever it does in the movies. And, again, going back to it, the idea that Labyrinth of Time was supposed to be seen between the two movies, it might be the way that I say that FB7 is such an amazing thing, because I get all of my best Macross 7 stuff wrapped in Frontier. Pretty damn good. So maybe you're going to get some Frontier stuff wrapped in Delta, which isn't that bad.
Well, it depends how they use it. If they screw it up, then
I mean, I don't think you have a problem with the music of Delta, right?
No.
Yeah, and do you have a problem with the characters of Delta? I'm not talking about the narrative. I'm not talking about the storyline. Just the characters.
I like the characters well enough. Even Hayate.
Yeah, well, there you go.
To like there.
I think a combination of the two would just be the characters and an independent storyline having to feature whatever the hell's going on with Frontier. So you would get the characters you love from Frontier, the continuation of the storyline that you didn't like, because I'm assuming it's going to take care of whatever the hell happened at the end. And we're going to wrap that up with the characters of Delta who are already finished their stuff. So, new story for them, a wrap up of a story you didn't particularly enjoy the very end of for Frontier. The possibility exists, granted, mind you, they might not have been thinking about all this. I might be painting a better thing than they ever thought about. But the possibility exists. You get everything you ever hoped for. The Delta characters improve. You get a resolution that you're happy with for Frontier. And hell, who knows?
I like the ending of Frontier.
No, you said you didn't like him vanishing at the end of the movie.
That's the ending of the movie. But I actually did like the ending of this series, where he doesn't vanish.
Yeah, but we don't know which one's actually canon yet. It is the cat in a box scenario. Schrodinger's cat, yeah. Sorry, in my head I was thinking Heisenberg's cat. I was like, no, that's wrong. I couldn't remember, but I knew we all
the blue myth cat.
Well, no, it would be a cat in the box. Whatever would go wrong for that cat.
Yeah. No, but when you say Heisenberg, I always think
my cat in the box. It's my cat in the box, girl. But yeah, no, I mean, we all would know what I meant. What if I said cat in a box? So, yeah, I mean, I would love it if all of that happened, and then at the very end of the movie, Basara shows up just to ruin it a little bit for you and make me a little happy. Like, he comes in and he starts singing, 6th Street or any of the numerous Firebomber hits.
And just wins the day because that's how he.
Oh no! I'm
probably
just
does.
like, I'm not even talking part of the story. I don't want to ruin it that much for you. I'm just like, we finish everything up, and then like old man is at the bar drinking, and it's like Basara because he'd be older by now, and of course
Yeah.
he's just wandering. And I assume Basara
He made it
wanderer.
40s, I think. Yeah.
Probably he could also be like back corner playing a guitar. You know, he wouldn't be guy at the bar
Yeah.
drinking. He'd just be old man
No.
corner. Yeah, you know, Basara would live a hard life. He would just be wandering, fucking around. But yeah, no, that's how I would
And
love it.
then in the corner, a little girl, a short girl with a bouquet of flowers, go like,
Oh no, she's fucking immortal. She'd be the same age.
yeah. That's what I said. Yeah, young girl.
Well, you said little girl,
A
so I was
teenager.
thinking like child. That's my problem.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
But you know, I mean, the idea though is that this is new generation of Macross characters essentially all got inspired by Basara and Firebomber. So having their inspiration show up, I mean, well, technically they've been inspired by everybody, but Basara is like the only one probably still relevant, given that, you know, one of them is like in her 80s, the other one is a fugitive computer. Basara is like the most recent
that got
one.
destroyed. By the way, I did make a mistake when I said that the skirt on the central computer that was
A different color.
Cheryl Apple. It was a different color. No, actually, it was pink, reddish pink. I thought it was black. I don't know why I said it was black.
I thought it was purple in my memory, so I don't recall.
Yeah, it was always.
I was going to go with it.
So.
Well, I mean, it didn't make sense when they showed the Macross 7, and they showed the one that's a duo by itself, and then they showed the giant one. They should have been either both the duo, or they should have been two different ones that have been. So, I don't know.
Anyway, that were my notes.
That were your notes, indeed. So I guess nothing left to do but to hop on in.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
捕虜の扱いに関してはオーモンド条約で決められています。そう無茶なことはしないでしょう。
Right, sure. They don't seem like treating you well when you're in a prison cell and have, you know.
これより捕虜3名の裁判を
Remember, fair trial before
な
execution.
お異例ではあるが、本法廷はハインツネリヒ・ウィンダミアをたってのご希望により午前にて執り行う。
Though he is the king that doesn't want to kill people. So I guess this is, despite appearances, probably the best chance to not be executed.
True.
Well, he didn't want to kill people before he was king. And then he didn't want these people to be killed on orders that he gave Royd and, I guess, Keith.
I mean, it also could be that he's flexing his own muscle, right? Like he says, I'll do what you tell me. I want a trial. And maybe Roy doesn't give a shit. Like, as long as they're not dead before I can use Mikumu, doesn't matter, right?
Well, I think Royd is in the parlance of fucking repeating everything we've ever done in this series. Pulling a, what's his name from Frontier?
Yeah, Grace.
No,
Pulling a Grace,
I said,
yeah.
what's his name?
From Frontier?
Yeah.
Grace.
No, what's his name? Literally, I'm using a male pronoun.
The guy who did the coup, yeah.
The guy's so...
I forgot his name, yeah.
The guy's so well known to both of us that despite being your favorite show, or second favorite, or at least the one that got you into Macross, you also don't remember his name.
No, he didn't go to me. I got into Macross on the original Macross, actually.
No, you told me
similar name
in
show.
one of the previous recordings that Frontier is the one that really got you into it.
Well, the thing is, Mac Plus actually got me purely in the Macross.
ミクモの反応はシステムのそばで消えている。
やはりハヤテたちは捕まったようだな。
I can tell even though they're inside and I'm looking through binoculars.
いや、皆様さすがにお耳が良くていらっしゃる。ベルガ。
No, thank you. I just ate earlier.
サテライトナビですが、部品の一部は 我が財団傘下の企業が
I just
He's
brought
been
up the
tracking
satellite
them.
thing.
Yeah.
うちの装備全部点検した方が良さそうですね。
Well, you didn't drop a satellite. You've been using their satellites.
なぜ
The gate went in atmosphere.
ズシメボグ。ロイド様はどうしたのだ。
神殿の調査があるのでこちらは任せるとのことです。
By the way, those are the two that we had a conversation with before. About.
ここは大いなる風に誓おうよ。ハインツ・ネーリッヒ・ウィンダミアは3枚
I
の
swear,
羽
if
の
he
下
is
した
like possessed by a former protoculture guy,
なお本法廷は略式で行うため検察弁護人による被告人質問は省略とする。
手錠も外さないの
I guess they wear the things to hide their wounds, so you can't tell what their emotional situation is. Which is, I think, if that's true, that's a good touch. I like that.
我が領内に武装して侵入、戦闘行為に及び聖域の空を侵した。
Honestly, I'm just glad they're not themed after fucking apples. Also, they got the feathers. I wonder if the feathers mean anything. You're being judged by the wind?
少し時間をくれぬか。お前たちが所属しているケイオスとやらは軍隊ではないそうだな。しかもお前は地球人。お前はゼントラーディの流れを組む者。球場星団の生まれでもないそうだが、なぜ我らと戦う？球場星団を守るという契約のもと、我々は任務についています。職務として戦っているのか？
それだけじゃない。
ではなぜ？
守りたいからだ。ラグナやみんなを。
Didn't you let Ragnar be
プレイヤ
bombed
ビオン、
by your own
お前は
allies?
なぜ歌う？
私たちワルキューレはバール化した人たちを救うために全銀河に歌声を届けています。
ワルキューレとしてではなく、お前自身の考えを聞きたい。
I'll save us all if Heinz gets into who are you conversations.
Yeah.
歌っていると歌で体がいっぱいに、楽しい気持ちでいっぱいになるんです。銀河中の人がこんな気持ちになれたら戦争する気もなくなるかもしれんって。
歌で体がいっぱい。そのように感じたこと一度もないが、お前のあなたの歌声を聞いたとき、
Ah, the colors are back again.
あの色はまるで
It's a weird thing to say, Lessons.
太陽の色。もう一人の歌い手、
でも
あの人の色は
虹の色。
I swear, half the shit we say, you take out of context, we sound like horrible
美
people.
しいが近くにあるようで遠く、どこか恐ろしい。
私にはハインツ様の歌声の方が恐ろしく感じます。透明で色がなくて、
色がない。
綺麗で澄んでいて、でも何もない、空っぽな感じがするんです。
空っぽだと。
無礼な。陛下、あの娘は王家に対する反逆罪にも問われています。反逆罪は即刻死刑。あの者だけ。
Also appreciate that we started this whole thing by saying you won't have a chance to speak. And now it's literally nothing but them speaking.
何が裁判だ。どうせ初めから俺たちを始末する気のくせに。
Actually, no, they called it a tribunal, not a trial.
オーモンド条約に反しています。
被告人たちは新統合軍の軍属にあらず、よって戦争当事者とは認められない。条約の適用外である。
そんな。
ハインツ様、外の世界は見るもの聞くもの全部知らんもんばっかりで。
黙れ。
でも時々ウィンダミアとよく似た風が吹いていて、だから
黙れと
See, this is really why you need bailiffs.
やめられんのですか？
クレア。
Remember, he just punched a super being, essentially.
いやしい虫けらが。やめろ。そこまでだ。
mean, legitimately, you should have taken Hato away back to a cell or something because he's in contempt of the court. Everyone that wouldn't shut up when they were supposed to shut up. Additional charges levied against them. Like, you don't just let people fucking shout whatever they want to shout.
Slow moving.
Yeah, we've been here before. It was the end of last episode.
収納ハッチ内に皆様お乗りになれるかと。
何が狙いだ。
私は商人です。もちろん、
Like I said, I got no problem with this guy. All the problem on the reaction end comes from you.
我々はウィンダミアから一旦手を引きます。
Wow, they're gonna lose the war. We don't want to die with them.
では、ご健闘をお祈りしております。
You know what I bet is happening? He's gonna be in the movie. We're setting him up for the next thing.
王の御前である。血のカドゥンで王の間を染めることは許されません。
申し訳ございません。
あなたの風と交わった時、痛みを感じた。あれは恐れと悲しみ。
戦争が続いたら、またみんながあんな思いを。
だが、止めるわけにはいかぬ。我らの正義はまだ成し遂げられてはいない。
ハイツ様。
陛下、この者たちは己の罪を認めず挑発的。これ以上審議を続ける意義を認められ
I mean, that's some Salem witch trial shit. Of course, they're unrepentant if they don't believe they've committed a crime. That's not a defense of them, by the way. I'm just saying.
The first feather.
Like I said, the feather thing.
我二の羽、同じ風に。我三の羽、同じ風に。
We all eat the same beans.
同じ風の中にあり。よって捕虜3名を有罪、死刑と処す。
But who would have known to have created her? Like, if this thing only came out now, and then beamed that thing into his head, who would have known to have made her in the first place? I guess Lady M. Lady M could have found a different ruin.
作られし命。7年前、戦争の混乱に紛れ、この神殿の奥の間からあるものが奪われました。それが何かは分かりません。
Oh, she wasn't made 3 years ago. She was woken up 3 years ago.
Revive her. Oh, so she's a clone of whatever. Maybe she is.
Well, no, she was in the chamber. So I think the previous thing that we're talking about was right. She's protoculture.
Mm-hmm.
その力は長い時を経て風の歌い手に受け継がれた。その星の歌い手を蘇らせるとは、なんと恐れ多い。しかも真実を伏せ利用していた。いや、恐れていたのかもしれません。あなたの力を。
And also, you know, not for nothing, but proof that the nuns also stole Makumo from Windermere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what they failed last 7 years ago.
そうです。記憶はなくともその体には刻み込まれているはずです。ウィンダミアの風があなたの歌。
So she's like, what's her name from Zero, right? In essence, a priestess of the protoculture.
No, I mean no and no.
子供の頃、絵本で読んだことある。
What's her name from Zero wasn't a priestess of the protoculture.
奈落へと通じる断罪の崖より風に散る。
あそこから飛び降りろってか。
I haven't seen this since that one Captain Harlock movie that I watched, where they did this, but in a spaceship in high orbit.
最後までわかりません。
お前の飛び方、嫌いではなかったぞ。少し考えすぎのようだったかな。無心で飛べば風が自然に運んでくれたはず。惜しいことだ。
Is that a clue on how to survive?
お前の風には殺気がなかった。戦場では相手を殺す気で飛ぶものだ。
メッサーにも同じようなこと言われた。
メッサー。
死神さ。俺はフレイヤの歌を血で汚すわけにはいかねえからな。それでも次に戦う時はあんたを超えてみせる。
Cool. Fight in hell.
これより刑を執行する。
まずはお前だ、裏切り者。本来ならばウィンダミアの風
Step
と
up,
なる
Arch
ことも
Traitor
叶わぬ
Stanley Tweedle.
陛下に感謝するのだな。俺が行く。何を勝手な。いいだろう。白騎士様。最後のね。
What a fucking twist in his facial
まだ
emotion.
最後かどうかわかんねえ。
You can't decide. What?
I mean, he is the prince. Well,
ミラージュ
the leader of the
プ
squadron.
レイヤーを頼む。
私の命に変えても。
信じてるぜ。
Also, not for nothing, I don't think you have to be so close to him with an automatic rifle.
Yeah.
Just tell him to move and shoot if he doesn't. Yeah, like I said, I think it was a hint.
時間稼ぎのつもりか。無駄なことを。
I remember last time he jumped into the void, he came back.
Yeah, but I don't think you can, like, get out of this on technicality. I fell and I came back. You can't kill me now. That, or did I steal one of the windsuits that we saw the other guys fly in on before? Oh, Arad and company gonna save him. Thank God. This is the same bullshit you get in like movies like Wonder Woman. They just kept it fueled even though it's a museum. Did Burger give them fuel for the museum piece? Did they keep it fully loaded with ammunition too? In the museum?
I mean, you got the rockets in your skirt.
Freya, maybe.
Yeah.
Kathy's not even wearing a skirt. Okay. Remote, that's right. The same reason that we think that his dad might not be guilty. The remote control thing. Yeah, but it has to be Makumo singing that destroys it. Because remember, they nuked a previous ruin and it didn't get destroyed.
Yeah.
Okay, Gurren Lagann. Sorry, like those anti-aircraft guns going off in the background, like flat cannon.
I guess so. Don't
salute the fucking plane that killed millions of people.
Yeah.
Now that I've given you advice on how to defeat me. Meanwhile, at Hogwarts,
ワルキューレ、思えばあなたの星の歌い手の存在を隠すためにあのような者たちを。
違う、私は星の歌い手なんかじゃ。
I mean, that could make sense still. Form the group before you have her join it. Nope, it wasn't armor. Now we've learned.
マキナさんがやられた。
マジかよ。
If you show the wound up here, and there's no blood going around it, you can't have a pool of blood underneath her.
Oh, don't tell me she's gonna die and they're gonna break up the couple. Bury your gaze moment.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the other girl can die and it won't be broken up then. They'll be in hell together. That was a joke, everybody. Calm the fuck down. Would you be happier if they sang and her wound healed up because sound energy? Or would you prefer she died? Yep, see, like I said, code word.
Yeah.
Trigger word, whatever. Well, now she's singing herself to death. I guess they were waiting on the other planet for the thing to get through. I guess Hein's song was just like adoption of this older one. I think this is one way to get most of your characters naked.
Yeah.
I told you there was more shit. More shit in the fold. No clue what the thing that they brought through from the fold side would do, though. It looked like a portal. Which is ironic, because this thing's already opened gates.
So this is the 11th hour. Oh, we lost all hope. We got captured. You know, Mikuma is now under the control.
Well,
She's
no.
dying.
This is the threat you didn't know moment. That we have been enemies the entire show. Now we have to join forces because our real enemy is Royd and Makumo.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, Makumo's not really our enemy. She's being forced. She's doing what she was created to do, we think.
Mm-hmm.
Against her will.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I said, we think she's created to do this. Technically, the protoculture left her here for something. Might not be this. She might just being used this way.
But it does feel, I think if it goes back to the whole fail-safe thing that we were talking about or something similar, right? That might be the whole thing, but
I don't
that's a theory
know.
that I like.
The element that I didn't really pick up on, and I think I'm going to pay more attention to, obviously in the rewatch, is that they said that there was a priestess here that gave them information and everything. And I don't know if they were implying that that was a Windemirian priestess that was covering the meaning, like pass me down oratory information, or if it was like a protoculture priestess that they just lost the time or something. So, there's also the element that Lady M was here.
Yeah.
And just something that I don't think we ever covered in our stuff. Macross Plus has a woman with an M name.
Macross Plus, yeah.
The main one.
Miyung.
星の歌い手三雲銀ヌメールよ全銀河にあなたの歌声を
Not a fan of that. As much as Mikumo has been like
an enigma.
Yeah, don't like seeing her cry. I know it seems like I'm an emotionless bastard. I'm like, haha, girl got shot. But it's only because, to the stakes thing, right? This is the first view of there actually being stakes for these girls who are put into these weird-ass, over-the-top situations and nothing ever happens to them. So just the disbelief is the first thing I catch when something actually happens. But, also, this show is well animated, but yet not animated well. She gets shot here, falls over, and there's no blood coming from this. And yet, there's a pool of blood glowing over beneath her. Where's that blood coming from? Because it's not coming from this wound. We can see this wound. You put it camera up. So...
Unless it went as a through and through, but we don't see it as a through and through.
Yeah, it went this way. So it should be a through wound. We don't see the backside. It literally looks like she got grazed, but that's not a grazing wound. So, as I said, it's a well-animated show that's not animated well. So, this is to the whole point in our note section about the fight above the gate, right? And how actions do not proceed where they're going from. Yeah. The direction, the indication the characters make towards, it's bad. Yeah. So, that's where also the fact that I handle these things with levity. I think it's also more an aspect of reacting with another person, because I think if I was, I don't know.
By yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. The problem is that we're like this far into the show, and I treat most of the show with levity now. These aren't characters that I've grown emotionally attached to. When we're done with this, and we move on to the next thing, I don't foresee myself missing anybody. Nobody has grown, in my estimation, to that level of attachment. Like, I still miss Hikaru and Minmay and Misa. Obviously, I miss Firebomber. Even though you don't like them, I miss them. They had a good character.
I miss Alto.
Like, there was no good narrative around them, obviously. We all agree on that. But I miss their intergroup, interactions. They had a good... Yeah, they were good. Obviously, I miss Shin and Sarah from Macross Zero. No, I do not have the board up, in case you're wondering. That's why I'm staring down, as I'm remembering. I miss these character interactions. Obviously, I miss nobody from Macross Plus. So, Macross Plus, I'll have the same character level of interaction, the character building on me as this one. I felt the characters from Macross Plus were just not awkward, off-putting. I did not enjoy them. Like, even Isamu, who's supposed to be your fun guy, like, I keep going back to where he, like, motorcycles up against the thing so that his potential love interest at the very first part of the episode would be like, oh, you're exciting. Like, no, Isamu, not a fun, not a good character for me either. So, again, there's just a lot for Macross Plus that just makes me not like it.
Samu Dyson, yeah.
Well, just a bunch of things. Like I said, the narrative, the way they introduce stuff. I'm not trying to get into why I didn't like Macross Plus. I'm just saying that I'm not saying it because I'm reiterating I didn't like Macross Plus. I just meant that there's multiple levels that I didn't like the show in.
Yeah.
Same thing
I
here.
get it.
Same thing here. The Macross Delta I find to be entertaining. I'd say it's probably 4 tiers down on the music that I enjoy, which is to say, it has a couple of songs that I'll probably listen on YouTube at some point on their own, but it's not like top of the list. I like the character animations, but I will say the character designs aren't like top for me either. They've got this weird, they've almost been drawn for hentai, I feel like. Well, every time they make a weird face, and it's like, you're giving me your own face? I don't know what's going on here. This looks weird as compared to all the other Macross stuff that we've watched. Even Macross Frontier, when she's in the closet with Alto, and it's like, oh, your phone's vibrating. It's like she wasn't making faces like these people make. Just for when they're just happy, they're not making the same closet faces. So this is just weird shit going on. Weird choices were made for this show. So while I'm interested to see where it goes, I think I'm interested on an academic level. Like, I want to know because I want to know, but I'm not like if this was a week-to-week thing, I'd be like, oh god, I can't wait to find out what happens next week, because I think the setup had been, if we had been watching on a week-to-week basis, like this is G-Quux, it's like just coming out and we're like watching. I'm like, God, every time I thought they were going to tell me something, we did something fucking else with the episode. So as much as I hope that we're going to learn something, I know I'm going to be left disappointed. And that's my expectation herein.
Yeah. Well, with that said, I think it's time to wrap up this episode.
I felt like I had a point to that, but then I realized I was just ranting about the show as a whole, and I don't know where I started from to where I was going.
I think it's best left on notes to go back, watch it, and see if we see something that.
Well, I guess my last thing then is that I just hate episodes like this, where it's like the main characters of the show put into an obviously should be deadly situation, but obviously it's not. Again, the whole stakes argument. What are the stakes? Nothing really, because we're not going to kill the literal love triangle ever. At least the movie had the balls to put Cheryl in a coma. You know, the movie anyway. She wasn't in the show. Yeah, in the movie. Like,
in the movie, she was in the
Alto fucking vanishes. Cheryl's in a coma. It's like, okay, we're doing something at the very least. Granted, at the very end and in the movie, but still, we're trying some stuff out. All right. Well, I guess with all that said, that's it for this episode. So once again, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?